Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode on the podcast of the KBR Show. This is yours truly, King Buddy Ray. So we have a lot to catch up on in the sports world. Hopefully everyone had a great Monday through Friday of the work week and is enjoying the nice weather. Thankfully, it doesn't look like we're going to have any rain today. So first time in, 5 days that no rain. And it's supposed to get back up into the 80s this coming week. So I'm really excited for that. Hope you are as well. If you went to the Bridgewater yard sale, more power to you. I stayed at home this morning. I live in Bridgewater. I ignore all the traffic and all the craziness. But have we missed a lot of sports since we last talked on, Tuesday? So we had the recap before we get into everything. We had missed Game 5 of the Thunder Timberwolves series, which everyone knows the Thunder whooped up by a total of 30 points on the Timberwolves and going on to play in the NBA Finals on Thursday of Game 1. Opponent yet to be determined. They whooped up on the Timberwolves in 5 games. First time they've reached the Finals back since 2012 when they played the Miami Heat with LeBron and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. First time then when they had James Harden, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, Kendrick Perkins. So first time since then. And then we also had on Thursday, we had Game 5 of the Knicks-Pacers series, which the Knicks were leading 3-1. Knicks tied, brought it back to 3-2, and Game 6 of that series is tonight in Indianapolis. So looking forward to that. We haven't had much baseball this week. Actually, no baseball in the county league for the Bucks this week. We had a couple games in the county league. We'll touch up on those here later. But we're going to start with the Timberwolves and Thunder that ended on Wednesday, Game 5. You had Minnesota. They won Game 3 in Minnesota. They lost a close one. Game 4 on Monday, or lost a close one. Game 4 on Monday. It was close, 2-point game. They travel back on Wednesday to Oklahoma City and lose by a total of 30 points, 124-94. You were thinking pre-game, can Minnesota take it back to Minnesota 3-2? Ant-Man had to come on a hot start. He did not. Randall had a decent game. That's what you were thinking mid-game. Can both teams perform off the bench? No. The Timberwolves did not. Alex Caruso did. Cason Wallace did really shut down Ant off the bench there. What's showed up better. Oklahoma City proved that. And the Wolves have never and still have not won a series when they were down 3-1. They were 0-7 before Game 5 on Wednesday, and now they are a total of 0-8. So it started early. Chet had 5 points early in the first quarter, but Oklahoma City started on an 11-3 run, and Minnesota came out shooting 1 of 11 from the field to start. So it did not look good from the start from Oklahoma City, and it did not get better. At the end of the first quarter, the Wolves were shooting 15% from the floor, and it was 26-9. It got a little better, but not much better from there. It just didn't get worse. But after that start, you really can't get worse if you're Minnesota. Shannon Jr. came in off the bench in the second quarter like he does, had a good second quarter, but he didn't really have a good second half. Ant started on the bench. Alex Caruso came in off the bench, had 3 quick steals in probably the first 2 or 3 minutes of his action. He had 6 points, 4 steals, and 1 assist in the first half alone. The Wolves had 7 turnovers in the first half, leading to 14 Oklahoma City points. In the first half alone, Minnesota only made 12 field goals. The Wolves had 7 turnovers in the first quarter. Had 14 total turnovers in the first half. 9 total steals for the Thunder in the first half. Julius Randle was okay in the first half. Had 8 points, 3 of 8 shooting. Jaden McDaniels did not do too hot. He had 3 points and 1 of 8. Ant had 9 with 3 of 10, but he was 0 of 5 from deep, and he was the best 3-point shooter all year. So, and then Alexander Walker was off the bench, didn't hit a shot. He was 0 of 5 in the first half. But Oklahoma City, their big three, showed up in the first half. Chet Holmgren, Mr. Skinny Man himself, had 15 on 3 of 8. Jalen Williams had 15 on 5 of 9 with 6 boards in the first. SGA had 20 points on 8 of 14, 5 assists, and 4 boards, so was on pace for a triple-double after the first half. Alex Caruso was key. The Wolves from deep were shooting 30%. The Oklahoma City Thunder were shooting 50%, only 29% from deep, but 50% overall is pretty solid. SGA scored or assisted on 32 of the points in the first half for Oklahoma City, which was only as many points as the Timberwolves had in the first half. So that was a pretty interesting stat line there. The turnovers were 14-2 in the first half. 14 Minnesota turnovers to 2 Oklahoma City turnovers. The Thunder D was up in them. They were picking them up at the foul line of the opposite side of the floor, so 84 feet. Shout out Kevin Chandler, as he says, pressing 90 feet on the base pass. He says that a lot to the Bucks players. He said that for the past couple of years, and he said it in multiple interviews late after games. And press 90 feet. The Wolves took notes, Kev. Granted, it's not the same sport, but shout out to you, Skip, there. Kevin Chandler, the manager of the Clover Hill Bucks. They pressed 84 feet on the basketball floor, which is from foul line on the opposite end all the way to the bucket. They were up in Ant-Man's grill, up in Julius Randle's grill. They were getting on screen. You were having to screen on the back court just to get up the floor if you're Anthony Edwards and Mike Conley Jr., who were the primary ball handlers for the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was not looking pretty. The Oklahoma City Thunder, after allowing 143 points in Game 3 and 126 in Game 4, they showed up on the defensive end. I started questioning. They were the best defensive team all year, really. And I started, was it legit? Because regular season and NBA playoffs, anyone that watches both, is two totally different things. Anyone that watches NBA or any professional sport knows that. NBA is even just dramatically worse from any other of the sports, but any major sport is like that. When it comes playoff, it's different, but especially on the NBA floor. And I was like, maybe it's just regular season defense, but they showed up the last 2 games, Game 4 in Minnesota and Game 5. They showed up. The third quarter and fourth quarter, second half remained the same. And then in the fourth quarter, the starters went out with about 6 minutes left for the Timberwolves and about 8 minutes left for the Thunder. They cleared off the benches. Final stat lines through the game. Oklahoma City won by 30 points. This is their 4th 30-plus point playoff victory. The Wolves had a total of 21 turnovers, 14 total steals from the Thunder with 18 points off of those turnovers. Randle had a decent game. He was 24 on 8 of 14, had a big third quarter, but it just didn't end up being enough. Anthony Edwards only had 19 on 7 of 8, but 1 of 7 from deep there. Jaden McDaniels, he's been trying to hold on to SGA, and he held on to him game 3 in this series, and that's about it. He was 2 of 13 for 5 points. Naz Reid had 11 on 5 of 6, so he was decent off the bench. But SGA, Chet, and Jay Will all came to play. SGA had all his points in the first 3 quarters, 34 points, 7 boards, 8 assists on 14 of 25. Chet had 22 points, 7 boards, and 3 blocks. He was getting to it. Rim protector, taking a note from Rudy Gobert's playbook. As everyone knows there, he is 3-time reigning defensive player of the year in the NBA when he was with the Utah Jazz. Jalen Williams had 19 of 7 of 14. Overall, the defense from the Thunder was great. They play, as I said earlier, in the first half, they really played a pressing 84 feet, the whole floor pretty much. But in the second half, they went to a box and one. And for anyone that does not know what a box and one is, it is when you play man-to-man on the other team's best defender, and then you play a 2-2 zone behind it. So you pretty much have 2 guys on whoever the one is, which in this case is Anthony Edwards. Or if you were playing the Lakers, it'd probably be Luka Doncic or LeBron James. If you were playing the Knicks, it'd be Jalen Brunson. If you were playing the Pacers, it would be Tyrese Halliburton. If you're playing Thunder, it'd be SGA. So you kind of explain what a box and one is. So they were putting Lou Dort in Anthony Edwards' face and then playing a 2-2 zone behind it. Pretty much is what a box and one is. And Anthony Edwards, Chris Finch, and the Timberwolves did not know what to do about that. My apologies. I have having a runny nose this morning. But overall, the D was great. They were throwing fresh bodies all night between Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, and Lou Dort, just rotating every 3-4 minutes, bodies after body after body. Freshness. Anthony Edwards, and he really couldn't get around it. The Wolves finished on 41% shooting, 35% from deep. Oklahoma City, 52% and 40% from deep. The Thunder will have a total 8 days off until they play. They last played on Wednesday evening, and they won't play again to this Thursday evening for Game 1 of the NBA Finals against whoever wins the East, which is the Pacers or the Knicks. And speaking of the Pacers and the Knicks, Game 5 of that was on Thursday evening in New York, Madison Square Garden, one of the toughest arenas in all of sports to play. Probably definitely the toughest in basketball, hands down. You can argue New York, Yankee Stadium's a tough place to play. Boston's a tough place to play. There's arguments there. But New York in any sport is a tough place to play. Their fans are vicious in a good way. And yeah, so could Jalen fast break points were key. Going into Game 5, Games 1 through 4, the Pacers were outscoring the Knicks in fast pace, 65-23. Could it get better in Game 5? It sure did. They were much closer. They still won, but it was 16-15 compared to 65-23 in the first 4 games. The Knicks have never won a series when down 3-1. They're on a good start. They won Game 5. The on-ball defense and low turnovers was key for New York. They fixed that up. No dumb fouls against the Pacers and keep it slow pace. And it looked like the Pacers didn't really want to pace the game. Was Karl-Anthony Towns healthy? He played the whole game. Lineup stayed the same. Mitchell Robinson started again with Josh Hart coming off the bench. And does Bridges pick up Brunson early? Kind of like in the Oklahoma City game. Does he press 90 feet? He did. And Halliburton only had 2 shots in the first half. Tom Thibodeau, who's the Knicks head coach, is only 3 of 9 in all elimination games. So he made that stat a little better, winning his 4th elimination game. The Pacers, though, this is key, especially going into Game 6 for the Pacers. The Pacers all season are only 31-4 when Brunson scores 20 total points. And Brunson's stat line, we'll go ahead and go down to his total stat line for the game. He only had 8 points on 2 of 7 shooting. So that stat line remains good. If Brunson doesn't score 20, the likelihood of them winning is very, very slim. But it was back and forth. Early. It was back and forth. Brunson had 14 in the first half, all in the first quarter, nothing in the second half. But the Knicks really played that smart. They sat him in the second quarter for about 6 minutes, did the same thing in the beginning of the fourth quarter, into the third, into the beginning of the fourth. They gave him like a 6 to 7 minute rest. And anyone that knows Brunson and Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks, he really doesn't get to see that much rest normally. But he did Thursday night in New York. Brunson had no points. Cat was huge in the first half, 17 points on 7 of 11. The bench was key as well. They produced 11 points. A lot of those were from Josh Hart and Landry Shamet on 4 of 8. So, but no 3-point basket attempts from Halliburton in the first half. He only had 4 total points in the first half. Coming out strong in the second half was key all series for the Pacers and Knicks. Whoever came out stronger normally won the game. The Pacers did not come out strong. They had 5 turnovers early in the second half, mainly due to the ball pressure and the defense from the Knicks, creating turnovers and then taking a page out of the Pacers playbook and running and getting fast break points. The Knicks started the second half on a 14-4 run and did not look back. Brunson had 19. He had 29 of his let's see what he ended up having. 29 of his 32 points in the third or first quarter, so he didn't really have to turn on the energy, which is key going into Game 6, I think. He didn't really have to exert much energy in Game 5, So I think that ended up key. And it ended up going back and forth, but Halliburton couldn't really produce. Pascal wasn't hitting. No one was really hitting. Benedict Mathurin had his second 20-point game in a row. First time he's done that this season off the bench. He was good. Aaron Nesmith couldn't really hit a shot. Is the ankle bothering him? He's sticking with Brunson okay, like it has been all series. So we really don't know what's going on there, what is happening there. We will see in Game 6 if that's a problem. I don't think it is. But the biggest difference on Thursday night was defense. The better defensive team won, which was the Knicks. Back to Indianapolis on Saturday tonight, Game 6 in Indianapolis at 8 o'clock. I have a Clover Hill game tonight, but I will be watching it after. So I'll be muting all my sports stuff during the game. So when I come home from the Bucks game, after I can watch it, pay attention to it, and fast forward through the commercials. Shout out YouTube TV for that. So back to Indy on tonight. And the Knicks ended up winning 111 by 94, the biggest lead of any series this playoffs. They went into the game plus 7 score difference, and obviously the score difference here was 15. Or no, not 15. 6 and 11 is 17. Wow, bad math, Zach. 17. Here's some final stat lines. Brunson was 32 points on 12 of 18 from shooting. Karl-Anthony Towns, 24 on 10 of 20. Big 17 points in the first half there. Miles Bridges, wow. Malik Bridges had 12 points. OG Anunoby had 11 points. Hart was big off the bench again. Another double-double with 12 points and 10 boards. He is the difference maker, I think, for the Knicks. Yeah, Mitchell Robinson is big, but I think Josh Hart, it's two things here. Can he come in and whether he starts or plays off the bench, can he play his role? I think he'll come off the bench again because it worked. Can he come off the bench again and produce, get some points, get some tough defensive rebounds, some tough offensive rebounds, and not turn the ball over silly? He's had some silly, just passes out of bounds, turnovers. Can he eliminate those? And can he have a big night like he did on Thursday? I think he's key for the rest of the series for the Knicks. Shamet was big off the bench tonight with 5 points and very big defensively. Great ball pressure. Really played big dividends on Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton. He guarded a little bit of both. The Knicks shot 49%. The Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton was 8 points, only took 7 shots. Didn't really attack. I don't know why. He was asked late game and he kind of deferred the question. So we'll see what happens tonight. Pascal Siakam had 15 on 5 of 13. Benedict Mathurin, as I said, had another 20-point game off the bench with 23 points. The Pacers were just sloppy, and there was no fast pace. Rick Carlisle called timeout 2 minutes into the game and said, "Why aren't we running?" He used some more language, but I'm not going to say that. He said, "Why aren't we running?" They were not running early, and they didn't run at all game. The first 4 games were decided by 23 total points. This one was decided by 17, so not as close as the game. The Knicks controlled the pace and scored more in fast break than the Knicks did, 12-10. And the previous 4 games were 13 all in favor of the Pacers, 13-5, 14-7, 16-2, and 22-9, outscoring 65-25, and they outscored them 12-10. So that was pretty awesome for the Knicks there. So who do you have for tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Do the Knicks take it back to New York? Is it a must-win tonight for Indiana? Can Indiana win a Game 7 if it goes back to New York? I think tonight it is a must-win for Indiana, but I don't see them doing it. I've got the Knicks tonight, and I've got the Knicks again on Monday. I think it's going to happen. They've never won it. They've never won a series down 3-1, and no team in history has ever won a series when they were down 3-1. Only 13 total have, but if you dissect those 13, none of those 13 were also down in that same series, 2-0. So it's going to be very interesting. Can the Knicks make history? I think they do. I think they win tonight. I think Jalen Brunson comes to play. Cat comes to play. I also think Tyrese Halliburton comes to play tonight. But I think the Knicks come out on top with big defenses late in the game from Mitchell Robinson and from especially Josh Hart. But I think Mr. Clutch Player of the Year himself, which was voted by the players, by the way, just saying, and he's consistent, Mr. Halliburton. You're pretty clutch, but you're not consistent. Get consistent, and you may win that next year, maybe. Just note that. But I think the Knicks win tonight and end up winning Game 7 back in New York on Monday night in Madison Square Garden. I've got the Knicks in 7 again. We'll see if tonight proves me wrong. I haven't had the greatest track record in the Eastern Conference Finals or even the Western Conference Finals. I think I've only picked, how many games has there been so far? 5 and 5, so 10. I think I've only picked 3 of them, so I'm 30%. But hey, batting 300, 3 out of 10, I'll take it. Can't get them all right. That's why it's sports. That's why it's a debatable topic. That's why it's fun. So I've got the Knicks tonight. But for you Thunder fans, you want the Knicks to win. So whoever wins Game 7 only has Tuesday, Wednesday off and has to play you on Thursday. So you want a Game 7, but no matter if it ends tonight, they got extra rest, obviously, there. So it was pretty awesome. But back to this Thunder for a second. They are the true example of team development and trusting the process. Philly, take notes. They went from starting in 2021, made no trades, just went with draft picks. Didn't make any big time trades for Kevin Durant, people like that. They made some for Alex Caruso and people in Hartenstein, obviously. But in 2021, they had 22 wins. Then they went up in 22 to 24 wins. And they went to 40 wins in 23. And then last year, they went to 57 wins and were the number one seed, but eventually lost in the playoffs. And then this year, they were the number one seed again with 68 wins. And the first team since the 2012 Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden squad, 2012, to make it back to the NBA Finals. Can they win a championship? Finally. Only time will tell. So, Game 6 tonight in Indianapolis, Indiana, Gainbridge Fieldhouse, 8 o'clock. Let me know who you think's going to win. I've got the Knicks tonight, and I've got the Knicks overall on Monday night at Madison Square Garden as well, who will go on to play the Oklahoma City Thunder on Thursday on ABC NBA Finals Game 1. Enough of basketball, though. Back to Rockingham County Baseball League. Mother Nature was not nice this week. It brought us lots of rain. It was nice for the rain, though. I didn't like it, but we somewhat needed it. It was a little much, if you ask me. But it is what it is. We had no games Monday through Wednesday, but we did have one game on Thursday, and we did have one game last night as well. On Thursday, you had the Cardinals travel to Elkton to defeat the Elkton Blue Sox, and that's the Grottoes Cardinals, defeating the Elkton Blue Sox 6-1 on Thursday. And then last night, shout out to production manager at work, Mike Paul's son, Dominique Paul, in a pitcher's duel against Tucker Garrison. Grottoes versus Montezuma at Grottoes in a pitcher's duel, 1-0. Each pitcher came, not many walks. Both of them had 6+ strikeouts. I think one had 6 and the other one had 8. Montezuma won 1-0 with that one run scoring on a wild pitch in the top of the ninth. So great game there. And now to the weekend of hopefully, I looked at the weather about an hour ago. No rain tonight, no rain tomorrow. So looking good for all you RCBL baseball fans tonight. You got the Montezuma Braves traveling to Bridgewater to play the Reds at Ray Hewitt Field at TAA High School. And then you've got the Stuart Straff Diamondbacks heading to Elkton to play the Blue Sox. And then you have the Massanutten Mountaineers traveling to the Clover Dome at Buck Bowman Park to play the Culver Hill Bucks. The Braves and Reds and the Diamondbacks and Elkton games are at 7. And then the Clover Hill game is at 7:45. Always there because Mother Nature's son again. And then tomorrow you have the Broadway Bruins traveling to Elkton. And you have Bridgewater traveling to Massanutten tomorrow. And then you have the Bucks traveling to Grottoes tomorrow. So you have a total of 6 games in the next 3 days. Or next 2 days, excuse me. You have 3 games each day, the next 2 days to watch. Plenty of good County League baseball, good old baseball. And the Reds games are free. The Bucks games are free. I think all the games here are free last I checked. Don't hold me to the Elkton. I'm not sure. I know the rest of them are. Don't hold me to the Elkton one, but I'm pretty sure those are. So if you like baseball and you like free stuff, go catch a County League baseball game. Yours truly right here will be obviously at Clover Hill when we host Massanutten tonight at the Clover Dome, 7:45. Should be a good one there. Massanutten, the second-year team, recently known as the RCBL or Newmarket Shockers. They became Massanutten Mountaineers last year. Coach Nolan Potts and crew coming to town tonight. Always a good time from them and a great group of guys there. So go watch your Rockingham County Baseball League, cheer on your team, or just go be a baseball fan and watch. So hit me up if you would like to know when those games are as well, or hit up the RCBL website or Point Streak and look up any of the teams to figure out where they are at. So that is it for Rockingham County Baseball League. We'll do a full recap on Sunday night and or Monday about the Rockingham County Baseball League over the weekend. To college softball, the Women's College Softball World Series, the final 8 teams, 5 of them were SEC teams, and it started well. The first game on Thursday was Texas versus Florida, and Texas ended up winning 3-0. And then Oklahoma was down 2 runs late. They were down from start to finish there, and then Oklahoma hit a 3-run dinger in the bottom of the 7th to win in walk-off fashion. Then Texas Tech beat Ole Miss in a pitcher's duel 1-0, and then UCLA and Oregon in the nightcap. UCLA won against Oregon 4-2. So that leads to elimination games last night where Tennessee smacked Florida 11-3 in 5 innings. They're eliminating Florida's chances, and Tennessee moves on to live another day. Let me fix my headset real quick. Sorry about that. I was fixing my headset there. My hat was bugging me with my headphones there. So, where was I? And then last night you had elimination games. Tennessee smacked Florida, eliminating Florida from contention, 11-3 in 5 innings. Then you had Oregon in a 10-run, or not 10-run, in a 10-inning ball game, 6-5 over the Ole Miss Rebels. And then you had the winners bracket today. You have Texas versus Oklahoma. The winner of that moving on to, and then the loser of that will play Tennessee tomorrow. And then you have Texas Tech versus UCLA. And the loser of that game will end up playing Oregon tomorrow in elimination games. So if you're in the softball, pay attention to those. Those are also very fun if you just like sports in general. Very fast paced, very entertaining as well. 2 local high school sports. We had Mother Nature ruin some stuff this week. Shout out to JMU, they're helping out the TA baseball squad with being able to get a game in on Thursday night. They started at TA and then moved to JMU. Shout out to JMU guys there and everyone that pitched in to that there. TA baseball beat Rustburg on Thursday 8-2, then went on to play East Rock yesterday evening in extras in a thriller. A very tight game. They beat East Rock 5-4. They will play Spotswood on Tuesday for the region semifinals. Softball, TA softball had the first round out. They had to sit because they were the number 1 overall seed. They were supposed to play last night against East Rock for the quarters, but that got rained out. So they play today, actually, in about an hour and a half at about 1 o'clock at Turner Ashby High School for the quarterfinals. Boys soccer, they beat Monticello last night and will play Stanton in the semifinals at TA on Tuesday at Sam Ritchie Field. Boys tennis for TA beat Rockbridge 5-3. For those of you that don't know anything about tennis, you got to win 5 games. So you play 6 singles and then 3 doubles. So 6 plus 3 is 9. You got to win 5 of those. Once you win 5, you're good. In the regular season, you play all 9. But once you win 5, you stop in the playoffs. So Rockbridge lost to TA 5-3. So TA will travel to the number 1 overall seed in the region, Western Albemarle, across the mountain in Crozet to play Western Albemarle, the number 1 overall seed, on Monday. So to some all-district honors that I saw. TA softball, Kennedy Shiflett, pitcher, first team. Madison Adderholtz, second baseman, first team. JMU commit Reagan Warner, outfielder, center fielder, first team. Second team, Cadence Williams on the infield, and Molly Griffin from the outfield. For baseball, Caden Simmers, who's also a Clover Hill Buck, TA for first team. Second team, Will Nicely and Mason Mance, who plays for the Reds, was also on the second team. So that is it for local sports. If you like some good local high school action, TA softball tonight, or in an hour and a half at 1 o'clock at TA softball there. And then TA baseball will play at Spotswood on Tuesday there. And then TA soccer will host Stanton on Tuesday as well. To NHL, both of those series ended in the last couple of days as well. The Florida Panthers won 4-1, and the Edmonton Oilers also won 4 games 2-1 as well. The game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals is on Wednesday. Panthers versus the Oilers should be a good one there. And now to tennis, and I think this may have ended why we were shooting this. I'm not sure. Let's pull it up. Yannick Sinner, the number 1 overall seed, has won in his first 3 rounds, all 3 sets to 0. Zverev, he ended up winning in 3 sets. The number 3 seed from Germany, he won. The top 4 seeds still remain in the men's side of things. On to round 4. Tomorrow, Mr. Ben Shelton, American, versus number 2 seed Carlos Alcaraz, 8 a.m. on TNT. And then fellow Francis Tiafoe, American, versus Daniel Altamar from Germany following that tomorrow. So 2 big ones tomorrow at Roland Garros, the French Open, the clay courts. Very fun atmosphere there. To Major League Baseball, the Yankees versus the Dodgers, the World Series matchup. Who's going to win? Well, the Dodgers took game 1, winning last night 8-5. Game 2 will be today, and then game 3 will be Sunday night on ESPN. Ended the 5-game winning streak for the Yankees and also gave Max Fried the first loss of the season. The struggles for Mr. Juan Money Searching Soto continues for the Mets. They lost another game, and he continues to struggle. Shout out Turner Ashby grad, ex-Clover Hill Buck as well, Brennan Hannafy. Shout out to you, sir, on Thursday. Happy late birthday to you. He also pitched last night for the Tigers in a win against the Royals. He pitched 1 inning, striking out 2 batters, and he's helping the Tigers lead the American League Central 36-20 overall record. And so now to the positive thought of the day. We've been talking about setting ABC goals and being positive and hitting those and not listening to the haters, right? We've been talking about that. So today we're going to talk about how to reach those. We're going to talk about how to reach those. So 2 easy questions to get all the time. Is it going to be easy? Is it going to be hard? Heck yes, it's not going to be easy. Heck yeah, it's going to be hard. But set goals that are hard. Don't set goals that are easy. Set goals that are hard, and even some goals that others think can't be done. Go prove them wrong. Go prove yourself wrong. Set goals that you think can't be done. Go prove yourself wrong. Believe in yourself. Drive and thrive. And as I always say, never ever give up. You may struggle. You may get 90% up the hill and fall all the way back down to the bottom, but always get up and keep going again. You will always get to the goal if you keep going. That is the key. You've got to keep going. The ones that don't reach their goals are the ones that give up. If you listen to people, I never reach my goals. If you really ask them, it's probably because they gave up and quit trying. So don't give up. A big thing I heard on a podcast this morning, the average run from hard. The average run from challenges in life. The great run towards it and attack it, and it makes them grow. So don't be average. Don't settle for average. Don't settle for okay. Go be great. Go run towards goals. Go attack them. Yeah, you may fall off the cliff and fall all the way back down the bottom, but get back up and keep going, keep driving, keep thriving, and eventually you will get to the goals that you want. You don't have to know how. Just keep doing it. Keep trying. Don't give up. The results will come. And as always, never quit, because quitters never win and winners never quit. So that is it for today's episode of the KBR Show. Game 6 tonight. New York Knicks travel to Indianapolis, 8 o'clock. TNT, Mr. Reggie Miller, one of my favorite announcers himself, on the call. And then yours truly will be up in the press box calling the Clover Hill versus Massanutten game at 7:45 at the Clover Dome. So, hope everyone has a blessed and safe weekend. Enjoy, hopefully, some warmer weather. No rain this weekend, it's looking like, but you never trust the weather around here, as everyone knows. So, go enjoy, go have some fun, spend some time with some family, some friends, go do something fun. Go win, go achieve, go for your goals and go reach them. Never ever give up, never ever quit. Go have fun. We'll see you either Sunday or Monday. We'll see what happens. And until next time, this is yours truly, KBR. And as always, go Bucks.